Hello, team, and welcome back to another Line War 1v1 Line War cast. That's the first time I ever messed up the opening line. You notice how I have an opening line for these now? I don't know if that's corny. That's probably just like super corny. Either way, 1v1 from the 2023 T2 tournament in Line War. Darender is in blue, and chickenballs20 is in red. It's on one of the pre-approved. There's 6 seeds that have been selected for the group stage in Line War for the tournament, and this is one of those seeds. We've seen this map before. 3 barracks for red and 2 factories building artillery pieces for blue. And we let the music bang. Okay, so Darender is gonna go for a big eco builder here. Big eco builder, big eco opener for blue. 2 towns is going to be enormous. It's going to depend what Chicken Balls is going to do now. There's a 4th barracks and a factory being built. And sort of luckily, I think, not luckily, but like it's a good play from Chicken Balls, I think, to go for a town here to kind of match what Darender is doing. Both players have good expansion potential. There's a chance that because Chicken Balls is more central to the map, that over time, red might be able to eke out a little bit more. There's 3 towns in the bottom on this map, so this will be potentially a big battle if the game goes on for a long time. But otherwise, we just wait. And try to banter, but I'm not good at bantering. I like this barracks to the back for Darender. It's something I think I don't do enough when I play, is just build barracks that are entirely dedicated to capping. Just the investment on the left-hand side of the map. This is what it is for Darender. It's going to get a lot of income over time, because all these infantry would be able to just focus on going to the north and capping there. We know that in the latest patch, entrenchments got a big buff. We've been seeing a lot more of that. Here's the tech choice, so to speak, from Darender, who still has not built a barracks at the front here, only this one in the back. But it's a very good natural choke for blue to defend. Because as you can imagine, if you're red, you don't want to really push through this. Kind of through mountains with artillery pieces overlooking it. And income-wise, 425 for blue and 370 for red. And that's really just that difference of a town. In general. Like out here, I mean, this barracks kind of functions the same way for Chicken Balls, I suppose. It's all just capping to the right-hand side. Which is good. Both players care about capping. So you know what they know what's going on. And here come the first 2 SAMs from Darender. I suppose now for blue, it almost looks like the plan is to just give up everything until this choke, assume that nothing can push through here, and then just cap the bottom. And this is the next big question. It is strikers out of the airport for blue. Which are the coolest unit in Line War. Yeah, so this is going to get blocked off entirely now. Darender's just going to pack that defensive line with artillery. And it would be very difficult to break without air support, but now the SAMs are here. Or just some overwhelming amount of infantry, which isn't going to happen off of 4 barracks. So now it's up to Chicken Balls to decide what they want to do, if they want to keep pushing. They're at 487 economy. Darender is about 60 in front of them. Wait, what did I just say? Maybe 80? I don't know. I'm not good at math. I'll leave it like that. But red will probably start pushing down to the south. The only reason to really keep all this infantry here is to kind of pin these artillery pieces in place. But because they're already in entrenchments, probably safe to assume they're not going to start pushing anytime soon. And that's kind of what red is going to do. Darender is going to go for a 3rd factory. Love the layout. One potential weakness to how blues, like this build from blue, is a dock for red would be able to destroy both these towns, and now this factory as well. It's pretty unlikely that red would build a dock super early in the game. Just in general, I mean, maybe there would be an argument to use transport boats to get across to the north, but that is something to note. Over time, Darender would be able to fix that with some artillery pieces dug in along the coast, but interesting setup from Darender to just stay here. I feel like most players have like more of like a feeling that they'll just push and continue to push and then dig in like ahead or something like that, but I like this because now for blue this makes the game so much simpler. Just assume nothing goes through here, build up an air force. First gas is on the way, first refinery. Chicken Balls has been making SAMs out of this factory, so at this point has 3 constructed, 4 on the way. So this is a really nice play from Chicken Balls to counteract the strikers. And I believe, I mean, this factory was built before Chicken Balls would have seen an airport. So I like this. With this almost near full dot of SAMs at this point. Advantage for blue to be able to get to the top first. Because of that, you know, there's no red dock, like we just said. There could be a chance that red would go for an airport here and then go for commando drops out of some of the barracks. That would kind of fit very nicely. And there is a decent amount of refineries for Chicken Balls to take. Right now, red's going to get that second town, and I like that play. Now matches what Darender has in town amounts, but there are 3 industry that blue has, and more that were just drops. So eco-wise, 694 for Darender, 657 for red. Chicken Balls 20. Very close. It's good. It's a good map pick. I assume nickname would have picked this. Someone said that my nickname sucks as one of like the pre-approved seeds, because we've seen some games on here and they've all looked different, which is I think part of the beauty of the picking phase. One of the strikers goes down. Great pick off from Chicken Balls, who's still building SAMs after one full dot of SAMs is finished. It'll be interesting to see if Chicken Balls decides to build more SAMs and then make 2 dots or more dots around the map, or just assume that they're going to be able to move these SAMs effectively. It's like the greedy play of, because you really don't want to spend as much time as possible building SAMs, right? Because you can build tanks, you can build artillery. So it's just interesting to see each player's different preferences. I would just keep building SAMs forever if this was me, because I'd be so scared of these strikers. Barracks location for Chicken Balls is sweet. Gonna act as a natural kind of body block in case blue ever does decide to try to push through here. And barracks have a lot of HP, so they can soak a bunch of damage for you. And red certainly has enough that if all these units grouped up and just kind of pushed to this area, they would be able to take it all, including these entrenched artillery pieces. They'd have to retreat once these blue infantry come in. That gets, I think, a little bit more dicey for these red units, but this is a lot of red infantry. And really powered by those 4 barracks that we saw. I mean, really just 3 barracks that we saw Chicken Balls open up with. The one back barracks by this point has done pretty much its job to get enough infantry to the far right to cap at a good pace. And so Chicken Balls is now going to invest forward with a factory close to this refinery to eventually kind of defend it. 2 barracks as well. And now Darender's going to start launching strikers towards Chicken Balls kind of base and where these units are leaving from. And with 3 strikers, they might be able to pick off lone SAMs that are headed towards the front line, which is a pretty big deal. But looks like it will just attack some infantry, maybe the farm a little bit. And economy-wise, 782 for red and 872 for blue. It is just more SAMs from red, which is probably good. Makes it way easier to defend things like this, when the strikers are kind of just picking off a few units. And another factory from Chicken Balls to go to 3 total. Darender's still building more eco on the left-hand side, which is a really good call, I think, and also building this barracks in the north. And so blue's certainly super far ahead in capping all of this eco. Chicken Balls, I think, just needs to find a way to get across the north relatively soon. I think that's like one of the only things that might separate over the long term the ecos. But I mean, if red just parks back here, this is a very scary army for blue now. Off of the 3 factories that were opened, right? It's a very factory heavy mix for blue. More of a barracks heavy mix for red. And Darender will probably build an airstrip at some point. Since that airport is nearly full. But dock for blue. Then that's a big deal. Because it mentioned about like, okay, Chicken Balls needs to find a way to get to the North Island. If Darender has a dock, it becomes even more difficult to do that with your transport boats because they'll just get sniped. It's so wild when like there's no fighting, there's no noise. Should I just ASMR this? Okay, there we go, finally. I think that's a depot that we just heard. Yes, it's a depot for Darender to start collecting some of this energy. It's a refinery, just trolling. $934 eco for blue. 946 now for red. This is a really close game. This is an absolute banger. This is a missile boat that Darender is building, which it feels like a lot of players are still just building a lot of missile boats. Like the patch notes for missile boats, well, they got a 10 HP reduction, so it's like really nothing at all. But I've always been big on, I just build missile boats. They feel like the safest boat that I could possibly build. And Chicken Balls doesn't have an airport, and blue has not seen any indication that red would have an airport. Okay, so this is an interesting fight because the blue artillery is already deployed. And these infantry weren't quite on top of it to begin with. So I think that this is going to be really bad for red. They might pick off some infantry. I mean, now it's a full haste move and all these other ones from more of a northern location are coming in. And this might end up pretty good for red. I love line war. I can never tell. Which probably just shows that I'm not that good. That I can't just eyeball a thing. Okay, I thought the red infantry would do a little bit better. But either way, what a fight. The strikers for blue are going to turn this definitely in blue's favor. No question at all, but... First missile boat is done. Blue's building a lot more eco to the north, which is not good news for Chicken Balls on the right-hand side. This fight is very costly for probably both sides, but I think red is getting the worst side of this. $10.28 income for red, still looking very healthy. I mean, Chicken Balls is making 286 per minute. 1073 for Darender, who's making a little bit more. So blue is probably feeling a little bit better about the economy, but still very close. It's just long term, it'll, I think, be in the north that blue will have that all developed. And it'll be tough for red to take it back. The problem about what red's situation here is also, like, what is Chicken Ball supposed to do? Like, you kind of just have to fight here. You don't really have a natural point that you're going to be able to back up to. I suppose this choke and then, like, in front here, but it's just a weird, it's just an awkward sort of place. It's this choke point that you want to be able to take control of. So interested to see what Chicken Ball is going to do. $1168 income for blue. 1080 for red. I think both players are playing pretty solid. There's a lot more eco that blue can develop than red can develop. That's like also the long-term thing to think about. Because there's 2 cities to the left, rather 3 cities, right, that Darender would have access to right now. There's only 2 cities for blue. And then also Darender's, as mentioned, probably going to be able to get this one first. Like long term. And Darender's actually building a rocket. I played a little bit the other day, 1v1s. I feel like rockets feel really good. It feels like there's tons of situations where you'd want to build a rocket. Kind of interesting. That's what a balance patch does to a game. And it's cool to see it. The different play styles. Okay, so this is a big blob. There's no way that red's going to be able to take it at this point with how many infantry there were. So Chicken Balls is going to back up. The changes that happen in the patch is that the launch pad takes less time to build. The rocket takes more time to build. So about the equal amount of time, I think, for it to construct in general. I wonder if it's because entrenchments being better, you have more groupings of units because you have more space control in the game. I don't know. This is the big fight to watch. I'm just ranting, but this is a lot of infantry and there's no meat shield for blue. So this is going to go well for Chicken Balls, who has enough SAMs to cover this so the strikers can't come down here. The issue, of course, in this situation is that Chicken Balls still has to go forward to get through another defensive line. But overall, this is a great fight for red. And we can see where the production focus is now increasing for both players, right? On the bottom side. Chicken Ball is going for the more barracks heavy style. Still more of a factory style from Darender. And these hasted infantry are doing really well. As long as Chicken Balls can sustain this, and I suppose the long-term goal would probably be just to dig in. There's no real way that red would be able to keep pushing. And the launch pad is now complete. Let's see it. Because I think, yeah, Darender has enough. There it goes. Cone is on the stand. The rocket is being constructed. 1423 income for blue. 1295 for red. So by going rocket, the rocket player has to choose a good rocket to make it worth it. So it's a huge asset, but like when I use rockets, I feel like it's just a liability. I just picked the wrong thing to hit with. But this is a big deal. How well is blue going to be able to use this rocket, and where does it go? Does it go to the bottom, which then allows them to get out of these defensive lines, and and then push towards all of this, which is probably a game-ending move still, as long as nothing's going on in the north. Or rocket to here, because red starts pushing it, or if then blue wants to push themselves through that position. Or something else I'm not seeing. Maybe a building? I don't know, I feel like whenever the question of like where should a rocket go, everybody has a different opinion. In a cool way. Yeah, I don't know what this red artillery piece is doing, but it's derping out. Oh, it's on this move command. Is that it? Yeah, these are all move command. Never mind. Okay, so when artillery are part of a move command, they don't deploy at max range. They walk right up to the other units. Which is tough, kind of weird. Or not weird, like you can understand why the behavior is like that, and that's intentional, but just move commands on arty, I don't know. I don't know if there's a thing to ever, like when you want to do that. I didn't know that until somebody in Twitch chat pointed it out. And then I looked, I'm like, oh my gosh. My arty is like using itself as a battering ram. Okay, so this is the moment where it depends if chicken balls can get across and then somehow get entrenched here, but because there's already an airstrip to the north for Darender, that's gonna be really difficult. Yeah, like Darender doesn't see that this is about to happen, but will pretty quickly. Blue also has a city on the way. And I suspect that the eco's starting to change a little bit and go more towards blue's favor. 1490 for blue and 1195 for red. Okay, so smart move from chicken balls. You'd like to just stand here, I suppose. Not really much else you can do. And like, I feel like that's actually pretty good for chicken balls. It's probably very costly, but not like being able to now like dig in here or something. Probably worth it. The reason the tanks are here is the idea likely is that they're gonna at some point try to break through and go through this little mountain pass towards an airport or something. Or just behind this defensive line. Start jumping on buildings. With these two cities for blue on the way, this is gonna get real bad for chicken balls. Because that's a lot of economy. Chicken balls now making plus 20 and plus 547 for Darender. And would officially be like very impressed if somehow red was able to get back from this one. Yeah, this navy is going to be a lot of trouble. Here comes the moment. Love this with the tanks. They're going to go through the mountain, unfortunately, so if they were to stay on land, they would be able to move more quickly, but if it's paired with the infantry, maybe it's okay. It's really likely not okay, though. The added range of these entrenchment units, especially because these ones are in the mountains, so these artillery, I think, shoot even further, or they do more damage or something. Rocket for blue is complete. And with a 500 eco lead, Darender gets to decide where that goes. Has shut down this crossing attempt. Yeah, we'll drop it in the bottom and then we will likely see blue push. Like 30 I need a medics go off. Very good rocket from blue. I mean, long term, blue doesn't even have to push that bottom location because of how much they're capping to the north. So there's a chance that... Okay, I lied. That Darender wouldn't even move out. 1160 eco for red and 1810 for Darender, who's running out of energy. This is where the tanks, you know, if like thrive more when they could drive through all of that, because they could even just keep going, and then it keeps all the strikers occupied with dealing tanks behind the, you know, the back lines, the front lines rather. Because like, what are you gonna, if you're blue and you have 3 tanks right here, what are you gonna do? You have nothing to defend against it except for your planes. So you have to commit the planes there. There's enough SAMs for chicken balls that the planes aren't even really coming out all that often. They're picking off this because the SAMs are a little bit too far away. And just thinning out this infantry for the artillery to deal with the rest of it. So this is now just an enormous blob. This is almost the artillery blob size to which it becomes like a problem to deal with. There'd have to be so many infantry to jump on this, or planes for red or something. And the sound we hear is more factories for blue. There is another rocket on the way as well. Darender is able to afford that off of these 2 cities and all the territories in the north. And now one of the I mean, chicken balls probably won't be able to afford it, which is the problem, but like submarines or something in the north. We saw a nickname use that, advocate for that to great effect, to be able to destroy navies in a comeback sort of like scenario. Because pretty soon Darender is actually even just going to open up this defensive line and push. Only thing I wish we saw was a aircraft carrier from Darender. But you can, I mean, just the strength of an airstrip, it does the job. Especially in this scenario, like an aircraft carrier. Mostly just to look cool when it comes down to it. Because that is worth something. 1160 income for blue, 1930 for... Sorry, 1930 for blue. 1160 for red. I can't wait until we have something that just goes on the screen and just says that. That is... That would be a wonderful day. Unless everybody likes me going like, and economy check 1953 for blue and 1160 for red, you know, every 3 minutes. The rocket for blue is nearly done again. And there's another city on the way for Darender as well. Clearly an invasion is going to be planned here. Likely that we either see another dock built or transport boats out of these ones. That would be the way smarter thing to do instead of building an entire new dock for it. But that's the difference between Darender and I. I'm a scrub. Damn near did another economy check. 4 strikers, 5th one on the way, so there's gonna need to be another airstrip at some point for blue. Or an aircraft carrier. Could be an aircraft carrier. Fingers crossed. My plan is, or my guess is that the rocket this time is going to go to the, I don't know, it's kind of hard to tell. There's so many blue units that are pushing through the bottom. It's like none of them have really been dedicated to pool up here. Probably indicates that Darender's not going to try to push through that choke and just stay there. Okay, so a town... No, a port. What was that? Yeah, town right here. Town for chicken balls. But going against all these cities, I think the only thing really that Chicken Balls has that is a huge advantage right now is this tank force. Or with its ability to just punch through the lines and then get back here. But there's still 4 strikers, which is just really tough. Okay, so that took out all the SAMs in the north, so the strikers will likely now launch. If Darender saw that or wanted to do that. To be fair, like, when I launch a rocket, I just look away. I just assume it'll do the thing, so I don't really notice what exactly it kills, but there's no SAMs anymore, and this puts Chicken Balls in a tough position. Because they want to go for all tanks, because that was one of the advantages, but yeah. There's no SAMs. GG, well played. GG, well played to both. That's tournament line war, folks. Pretty close. Like all line war games, it was close until it wasn't. But well played to both players. Hope you enjoyed this video. And hope you have a wonderful night. Day... Oh, wait. I gotta do something. I almost forgot. So that's a Steam key. First come, first serve, of course. It's a Steam key, but I won't be able to do this like all the time or whatever. But you know, thank you for the support, for watching, commenting, liking, subscribing. It all just helps the channel grow. But of course, just in general, just for watching the video. Yeah. Appreciate it. Have a wonderful night, day, evening, whatever it is. Peace.